It simply says they're sown among thorns. I want you to recognize that what we see is this: the seed is not alone. In other words, the seed that's planted has competition. See, why is it when we plant a garden, we pull out all the other weeds? Because we don't want the seed that's receiving all the nutrients to have competition, so the weeds take all the nutrients and the plants don't grow as much, right? Now, what happens is this: when the Word of God has competition, now what begins to happen is what? All of a sudden, the Word of God is not alone. It's not the priority. And this is what it says here in verse 19: the cares of the world, the deceitfulness of riches, the desires for other things enter in and choke out the word. And I want you to see here that the first seed has what? There's no belief at all. The second one has belief, but no growth. No depth, where the sun comes up and immediately, it doesn't say that it's growing tall, but when the sun comes up, there's life seeming initially. There's an excitement, this initial, joy, but then when the sun comes up, immediately there's a withering. So it really doesn't have time to grow. It doesn't endure through a trial. It doesn't endure through the heat. Doesn't endure through the scorching. And so it just has this belief, but it has no growth. And now we see what this third one has: growth, but no fruit. Take a look at verse 17 again, or verse 19. The cares of this world, the deceitfulness of riches, these are the ones who hear the word, and the desires for other things enter in and choke out the world, that it becomes unfruitful. It's interesting that you see life in 3 out of the 4, but you only see fruit in what? 1 out of the 4. And what is the will of God? That you bear fruit. Now, not that you look green, but you bear fruit. Remember, the fig tree looked green, but there was no fruit. What did Jesus do? Curse it. And I think what happens is this: when we look at the strangling, it just simply tells us what? The seed is not alone. There's other things that are planted with it. In other words, the heart isn't just focused on this word, but now the heart is focused on what? Well, it says cares of the world, deceitfulness of riches, and desires for other things. And when those things happen, keep in mind, when the word of God and the desire for what the word wants to do in your heart has what? Competition in your heart.